Now, as the father of 4 children, student success is something that's very important to me. Being a mentor and having a mentor is also something that ranks very high on my list. So for me to sit there and see all of the young men and women up here, mentors and mentees, already having such an early jump on being successful in life, I applaud. So I can only clap. But as I sat down at my computer and tried to think of a few words of inspiration that I could leave with you tonight, I wanted to come up with powerful, life-changing words. Words that perhaps would remain with you, of course, for the rest of your lives. That's a difficult task, I know, but I no longer confuse difficult with impossible. But as I sat there, thinking, staring at a blank screen, nothing but the cursor staring back at me. I'm sure some of you students understand that if you've ever written a paper. But after about 20 minutes, 2 words came to mind. Absolutely nothing. Because there's absolutely nothing that I can stand here and say to you tonight that will ever be more inspirational or life-changing than the words you learn to say to yourselves. Growing up in South Central LA, that's something that I had to learn the hard way, and I'll explain. Growing up in LA, I listened to a lot of people tell me all of the things I could not and would never accomplish in my life. For example, I listened to my foster mom look at me and say, "You're stupid and you ain't gonna never amount to nothing." I listened to her and I believed her. I listened to my family members say, "You're gonna be just like your father. He was a career criminal, he died in prison." I listened to them and I believed them. I listened to the teachers that told me, "You're not cut out for college." I listened to them and I believed them too. I listened to a lot of people tell me all of the things that I could not do, and then I lived down to their expectations instead of writing my own expectations and living up to those. But it was while I was in prison that I met my first mentor. Now, I don't suggest, if you don't have a mentor, I don't suggest you go that route. But it was my mentor who looked at me during one of our many, many conversations. He looked at me and said, "Success is a choice. And if you're going to make it in this world, it begins with you and your words." His name was Charles Lyles, and he believed in me like a jockey believes in a racehorse that has the odds stacked against him. He's still there, ready to offer words of support and encouragement on days when I struggle, because we all have those days. And if I can say this without a shadow of a doubt, without my mentor, I would not be standing here today. And for you young men and women that are mentors, I can tell you that it's possible for you to have that same effect on the young men and women that you mentor. Now, after I was finally released from prison, I began to mentor others. I wanted to do something for someone else that my mentor had done for me. And I want to share with you a few things that I've learned being a mentor and a few things that my mentor taught me. He taught me that being a mentor doesn't mean that you always have to be out in front leading the parade. But it means as leaders, you should never be afraid to follow. Just make sure you're following the right person. It doesn't mean that you'll never question yourself or your own abilities. It means that if and when you do, you'll have the courage to ask for help and to continue asking until you get it. It doesn't mean that you'll never hear the words, "You can't do that. Who do you think you are?" It means that when you do, you have the strength to do it anyway. That when each of you walk out of here today, I hope that you continue to have the courage to be an example for the young men and women that follow in your footsteps. And as I stand here tonight, I can tell you that being a mentor doesn't mean, or it's not only telling someone else that success is a choice, but it's telling yourselves.